And I think that they don't know what to do other than to try and come back to Britain and rebuild themselves as some sort of members of the royal family.
It's a terrible failure of judgment, a shocking betrayal, fundamental flaws.
And completely unforeseen, but the right thing to do. I mean, the point was that we'd always criticised Charles for being hesitant and backing away from controversy.
Well, absolutely. This is a real crisis for the monarchy. And I think there's more to come out.
See them filming and including in the Netflix series a private text message. Okay, they don't reveal the contents, but clearly a negative text message that William...
Absolutely. What we're really now seeing is that both of them, having posed as the victim for so long, are really the aggressors. And what I really thought at the end of it as well was this, which I think is a very, very pertinent point.
A complete catastrophe.
I get a little heat. I get pushback when I say, what did the Queen think she was paying $12 million for?
Tom Bower just dropped some jaw-dropping revelations that will make anyone's blood boil. And yes, it involves Meghan Markle, the late Queen, and a Netflix deal that's stirring way more drama than anyone imagined. We're talking about that infamous balcony at Buckingham Palace, the one everyone recognizes from royal celebrations, and what Tom Bower claims Meghan and Harry were really after will shock you. For years, whispers floated around about their priorities, and now it seems Bower confirms it. People have said it for years. It's about fame, it's about money, and apparently, it's about getting the perfect shot.
I think it's mixed. I think that once she saw Meghan when she came to London in 2016, 2018, and she reached out to Victoria to get freebies.
And I must say, it's always beyond Meghan. Meghan doesn't believe in reconciliation. Look at her appalling relationship with her father. She's a hard nut.
Meghan left Britain and then did the Oprah Winfrey interview. It's been really poisonous.
Bower sat down for an explosive interview. He's the author of Revenge, the book that peeled back layers on Meghan's personality. And his upcoming release promises even more shocking behind-the-scenes palace secrets. So what's all the drama about this balcony? That balcony isn't just a place to stand and wave, it's a symbol of royalty itself. According to Bower, stepping up there with the king and queen sends a clear message. I'm part of the family, I belong, I'm recognized. Tens of thousands of fans gather below, cheering, waving flags, and celebrating the monarchy.
It's more than proximity, it's membership.
Yeah.
When you stand on the balcony, you're part of the royal family. You're part of the target of tens of thousands of people in the Mall down to Buckingham Palace, cheering and attesting to their support for the monarchy. So to be on the balcony with the King and Queen and William and Kate would have been absolutely invaluable to Meghan and Harry. Of course, that was denied to them, and now they needed even more.
And if you're on that balcony, you're the star of that celebration. You're the face of the moment. But here's the shocking twist. Bower claims Harry and Meghan came back to Britain for the Jubilee with a plan, a literal checklist of what they wanted to capture on camera. And topping that list, the balcony shot, can you believe it? Like they were picking items off a shopping list. Scene for Netflix, don't forget the balcony. And it gets even more intense. When they tried to bring cameras into the Queen's private space, it wasn't just controversial, it was startling.
But she has been a huge curse on the British royal family and on Britain now even more. And one doesn't know how her daughters are going to cope with it. I mean, you know, she was pretty ruthless in her use of her daughters.
This was during the Jubilee, when the Queen was in her final months. On the surface, it might sound like a touching family visit, but according to Bower, it wasn't just family time. It was about filming, capturing content, and creating footage for their Netflix series. Harry and Meghan walked in with their offspring, ready to document what should have been an intimate family moment. But then, a lady in waiting stepped forward with just 5 words. No cameras, no pictures. Can you imagine that?
There was a very important moment where they brought their children to meet the Queen in Windsor. And as they walk into the room to meet the Queen, a lady in waiting steps forward and says, no cameras, no pictures. And that's the one reason they came to England.
They literally had to be stopped from filming a private moment with the Queen in her final months. That's the level of control, the level of intrusion Bower is revealing. The scandal isn't just the balcony, it's the mindset behind it. Every move, every visit, it seems like there was a camera-ready goal in mind. The Jubilee, the Queen's private moments, even family interactions, they were potentially set up for the screen. Bauer paints a picture of calculated scenes, where real family moments risked becoming part of a media spectacle.
King is battered by the Andrew saga. The one thing he doesn't want now is even more controversy with Harry and Meghan, which of course is just what they do want, because they're going to find more interest in themselves to get another series, to get some sort of exposure, to get money. I mean, that's what they're all about now.
And here's the kicker. According to Bauer, that's exactly why they came back to England. That balcony shot, that perfect footage, was planned in advance. The Royal Jubilee wasn't just a family celebration, it was a stage, and they had their eyes on the cameras. Tom Bauer is crystal clear about this. They were after those photos for their Netflix series. They wanted to cash in on the Queen's name one more time, but the palace wasn't having it. They were blocked, denied, shut down, period. The palace knew exactly what was going on, and that's why the lady-in-waiting was so firm. No cameras, no pictures. End of story. You can't just turn private family moments into a media show, and the palace made that clear. And here's the kicker. They brought their offspring along as part of the plan, almost like props for the camera, content to film and sell.
Meghan is deeply unpopular here, and as the Queen's last words were, you can't be half in and half out, and that's what they'd want. On the other hand, William, under no circumstances, in my opinion, would allow Harry to come back, and Meghan would be certainly stopped midway across the Atlantic. Their problem is that they've got no future. I mean, as ever, all her products, of course, is a complete disaster. She's got no Netflix series. She hasn't got any project at all.
It's chilling when you think about it. Family time turned into a media checklist, and Bauer exposes that raw truth. But the drama doesn't stop there. Enter the Andrew scandal, and suddenly the monarchy is on unstable ground. Bauer doesn't just focus on Harry and Meghan, he dives into how Prince Andrew's crisis threatens the entire royal institution. And this matters because while the palace is scrambling to contain Andrew's mess, Harry and Meghan are circling like opportunists, ready to capitalize on chaos. Bauer reveals something that will send shivers down your spine. He believes secret recordings exist, hidden cameras, video evidence of Prince Andrew. When that drops, the fallout will rock the monarchy to its core. King Charles knew trouble was coming. Bauer explains that he received a tip from Washington. More damaging revelations were imminent. That's when Prince William flew to Balmoral. Bauer paints the scene.
And they are literally wallowing in in a maze where to go. And so predictably. And so that is the problem. And for them to come back in the midst of the current royal crisis here would be impossible to imagine. I mean, an institutional risk to the British monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. A huge risk.
Really?
Absolutely. Because there's no doubt as they become more desperate financially and reputationally and seeking a purpose, they will do some very foolish things. And whatever Andrew has done, they will double the problem because they will not be controllable from London. So I do think that after Andrew, Charles and William do have this problem with the Montecito royals. Yeah.
William was embarrassed by Andrew's behavior at a London funeral, where Andrew was acting like nothing was wrong. William went straight to his father and said, "This cannot continue." And William was right. King Charles finally took action. Andrew was quietly moved out of Royal Lodge in the dead of night, stripped of his titles and essentially sidelined. But here's the problem. While the palace was scrambling to contain this crisis, Harry and Meghan saw opportunity. They saw chaos, they saw weakness, they saw a chance to negotiate their way back into the spotlight. Bauer calls this a major crisis for King Charles because Britain's reputation is already being shaken by Andrew, and the last thing the king needs is more scandal from California. And it gets worse. Bauer exposes just how desperate their finances are. Remember at the start of the interview, he warned it was bad? But it's worse than anyone thought. Netflix isn't offering another series. The Archwell Foundation is basically inactive, and money isn't flowing like it used to. Their lavish lifestyle? It's expensive, and the funds are drying up fast. Bauer puts it bluntly. They're running on empty tanks. Think about it. Massive Montecito mortgage, security, staff, a lifestyle that doesn't come cheap. They refuse to slow down, but the cash just isn't coming in. American Riviera Orchard flopped, Meghan's podcast got canceled, Harry's book was a one-time payout, gone. And now, they're down to one asset left. Their connection to the royal family, their Sussex titles, their brand, but that brand only has value if they can prove they're still connected to royalty. That's the reality Bauer lays bare, and it's a high-stakes game of survival in the public eye. The story doesn't stop with money and Netflix. Tom Bauer takes it even deeper. He explains that Harry and Meghan aren't just desperate. They're strategic players. Every move they make seems designed to keep the spotlight on them and to remind the world that they're still royalty adjacent.
Meghan and Harry's crisis, completely of their own making, is they have no major projects, no major money earners. And so they're more desperate than ever. And I think that they don't know what to do other than to try and come back to Britain and rebuild themselves as some sort of members of the royal family. I think that's what the Invictus Games, which is this.
Bauer points out something chilling. The Sussex brand, their titles, their royal connection, that's their last card. Everything else is falling apart. Without royal association, their projects have no weight. Netflix has already hit pause on new shows and any other venture. It's struggling. That means every appearance, every photo, every story is about keeping their link to the monarchy visible. And it gets more shocking when you consider how they're using public events. Bauer claims they treat big occasions like the Jubilee as a media stage. Every handshake, every smile, every wave is calculated for the camera, designed to get headlines, social media attention, and brand reinforcement. He paints a picture of a family visit that's anything but casual. It's meticulously planned, like a reality show scene. But here's the kicker. The palace isn't blind to it. They've seen the pattern. That's why there's pushback. That's why the lady-in-waiting had to stop cameras in the Queen's private rooms. And that's why security keeps tight control. The monarchy knows what's at stake. They can't let private moments become content. Bauer also dives into the timing. Everything seems to happen when the monarchy is distracted. Jubilee celebrations, high-profile royal funerals, or times when the press is focused elsewhere. Harry and Meghan reportedly see these as opportunities to maximize visibility. According to Bauer, it's not just bad luck or coincidence, it's a strategy.
Very splendid competition for wounded servicemen is going to start in Birmingham next year, but there's a rehearsal later in the summer. And Harry is determined to come, and if he could, he'd bring Meghan and somehow work his way back in so that they have status. My feeling is that the king might be slightly sympathetic, but it'll be stopped by William and Camilla. The one thing they don't is Harry and Meghan parading together in Britain. And I think that they don't know at the moment how to play it.
Chaos becomes an opening for them to stay relevant. And then there's the financial side. Again, Bauer explains that their empire is crumbling. The Archwell Foundation is dormant. Business ventures flop. And even their one-time projects like podcasts and books aren't recurring. They're living off what remains of the royal connection. And that connection is fragile. One misstep, one lost title, one controversial headline, and the value evaporates. This is where Bauer's analysis gets even more intense. The Sussex strategy isn't just about money, it's about survival in the public eye. Every move, every public appearance, every interview is designed to maintain their relevance. And the more the palace struggles with other issues, like Andrew's scandal, the more opportunities they see to insert themselves back into headlines. Bauer even hints at tension with the palace over the media narrative. Harry and Meghan reportedly want to control the story, frame events on their terms, and ensure their brand stays premium royal.
I mean, an institutional risk to the British monarchy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. A huge risk.
Really?
Absolutely, because there's no doubt as they become more desperate financially and reputationally and seeking a purpose, they will do some very foolish things. And whatever Andrew has done, they will double the problem because they will not be controllable from London. So I do think that after Andrew, Charles and William do have this problem with the Montecito royals. Yeah.
But the palace pushes back, enforces boundaries, and sometimes, as with the balcony or Queen's private moments, draws a hard line. It's a high-stakes game. One wrong move could wipe out what's left of the Sussex brand, but Bauer paints them as relentless. They refuse to stop. They're constantly calculating, watching, waiting, and using every public moment to stay relevant, maintain influence, and protect their last big asset, the royal connection. In the end, Bauer's picture is clear. Harry and Meghan are walking a tightrope. Their past choices, financial troubles, and reliance on the royal link make them desperate but determined, always seeking the next opportunity to remain in the spotlight. And every palace event, every royal ceremony, every public appearance becomes a potential headline, a content moment, and a chance to remind the world that they're still royalty adjacent. That's exactly why the balcony shot matters so much. That's why Harry and Meghan feel they have to come back to Britain, step in front of the cameras, and be photographed with William, Catherine, and the King.
Well, I think that she's still a pretty narcissist. I think she has been remarkably successful with limited talent. I think now the real story is what I'd call the end game. And how does this all, in the end, spill out? I mean, how on earth does she get out of the cul-de-sac, the one-way street in which she finds herself in? Because although she may not be headlines today because of all the other Epstein rules.
It's all about visibility, status, and proof of connection. Without that royal link, they're just another celebrity couple fading from the headlines. Nobody cares. Tom Bauer sums it up perfectly. They don't know any other way to stay relevant except to reinsert themselves into the royal world. They want to be half in, half out. Take the perks, enjoy the titles, skip the duty, and use their status to make money. But the late Queen made it clear, you cannot be half in and half out. Tom Bauer takes it even further when he talks about Sarah Ferguson. He doesn't hold back, calling Fergie bold, reckless, and greedy in her pursuit of money. And this isn't just gossip, it's part of the bigger picture for the Sussex story. Bauer reveals that the Yorks and the Sussex are playing similar games. Ferguson, for example, was reportedly seeking money from powerful figures, even using her daughters and royal connections to push business deals. Sound familiar? According to Bauer, Fergie's hunger for wealth was insatiable, and she constantly needed more to sustain her lifestyle. The pattern is clear. Just like Meghan, Ferguson struggled with self-awareness. She couldn't reflect on mistakes or see her own faults. The difference? Fergie stayed in Britain. She could be managed, controlled, and kept in line, whereas Harry and Meghan are in California, untethered and unpredictable.
The wheel will come round and she'll be back in the spotlight. And she seeks the spotlight, as she did the other day. I mean, she can't exist without featuring somewhere. And it's all gone wrong for her. And Meghan doesn't like things going wrong for her. And Harry has very little to add to the party. In fact, all he's got is this Invictus Games for the wounded servicemen. But that isn't enough to satisfy him. So I think there's a huge crisis coming, which will redouble all the problems for King Charles and William.
Bauer warns that makes them far more dangerous. And here's where it gets really shocking. Bauer claims Harry and Meghan are a bigger threat to the monarchy than Prince Andrew. Think about that. Andrew's damage is done. He's been stripped of his titles, moved out of Royal Lodge, and largely isolated. But the Sussexes? They're independent, making their own decisions, and cannot be controlled from London. They're planning, plotting, and executing moves from California with no oversight. Bauer predicts this means they could create even more problems for the monarchy than Andrew ever did. They will not stay quiet. They will not fade away. Every move they make is about reclaiming attention, rebuilding influence, and protecting their brand. Bauer's key point? While Andrew's scandal is contained, Harry and Meghan's actions are fluid, ongoing, and unpredictable. The monarchy cannot stop them, and their ability to maneuver from afar makes them a continuous challenge. Whatever issues Andrew caused, the Sussexes are poised to double the impact, constantly testing boundaries and keeping the royal family on alert. In short, the balcony, the public appearances, the careful timing of their moves, it's all part of a larger strategy. Tom Bauer warns that the Sussexes are relentless, ambitious, and untouchable from California, making them one of the most complex and persistent challenges the monarchy has faced in decades. And now, here's their next move. The Invictus Games are coming to Birmingham next year, and Harry is determined to be there. According to Tom Bauer, if he could, he'd even bring Meghan along. Why? Because they want to work their way back in, reclaim royal status, and monetize that connection. Every step, every appearance is about showing the world. We're still relevant. We're still royalty adjacent. Bauer reveals they're still negotiating, scheming, and hoping for that perfect balcony shot, even after all the scandals, the public backlash, and the palace warnings. That photo with the king and with William, that's the ultimate prize. It's the symbol that says they're still connected, still powerful, still part of the royal story. But here's the reality check. Meghan is deeply unpopular in Britain. Bauer emphasizes that the British public doesn't want them back, but desperate people can make bold moves. And make no mistake, they are desperate, and desperate people often do risky things. Fortunately, there's a safeguard. William has the power to stop it all. According to Bauer, William sees what the rest of the world sees. He understands the risk, the drama, and the potential chaos Harry and Meghan could cause. Bauer is crystal clear. William will not allow Harry and Meghan back in under any circumstances. King Charles might feel some sympathy. They're his offspring after all. But William, along with Camilla, will draw the line. The one thing they cannot allow is for Harry and Meghan to parade together in Britain, flaunting their status. Bauer even reminds us that William forced his father's hand with Andrew. He has the authority and resolve to do it again if needed. William is thinking about the future of the monarchy. He's watching carefully, learning from history. He saw what Andrew's scandal did to the institution and will not let Harry and Meghan cause more damage. That balcony isn't just a photo op. It represents the future of the monarchy, and William controls who steps onto it. Bauer says the king will go to great lengths to protect Britain's reputation, whether it's shielding the monarchy from Andrew or keeping Harry and Meghan at arm's length. William represents continuity, stability, and the next generation. He's committed to protecting the institution from anyone who wants to exploit it for personal gain. Bauer also teases his upcoming book, promising even more revelations about what really happened behind the walls of Montecito. Years of research, interviews, and digging have revealed exactly what the public suspected all along. Harry and Meghan exploited private moments with a dying queen, used their offspring in carefully staged content, and maintained a checklist of moments they wanted to film. They've been desperate for money, trying to force their way back into royal life, but Bauer is clear. They will never step on that balcony again. William won't allow it. The British people won't accept it. The monarchy will survive this crisis because the next generation is watching, protecting, and making sure the institution endures. The message is loud and clear. The monarchy will outlast the drama, the schemes, and the desperation because some things, like loyalty, tradition, and control over royal symbols, cannot be bought or manipulated. But here's the part most people don't see. The Sussex story isn't just about money or attention. It's about strategy, perception, and influence. Tom Bauer reveals that Harry and Meghan are constantly thinking several steps ahead, looking for ways to stay relevant while keeping their royal connection alive. Every public appearance, every interview, every photo op is calculated to remind the world they're still in the game. Bauer points out that they've become masters of timing. They pick moments when the palace is distracted, when media attention is elsewhere, or when public focus is on other crises. It's all about maximizing impact, staying in headlines, and using opportunities to control the narrative. And it's not just about images or videos. Bauer emphasizes that the Sussexes have one major asset left: their royal connection. Their titles, their brand, their ability to claim royalty-adjacent status. This is the only thing that gives weight to their projects. Without it, Netflix deals, podcasts, and business ventures are just ordinary celebrity efforts. That's why they fight so hard to reinsert themselves into royal life, even from California. Bauer also highlights a striking contrast between them and other members of the royal family. While the palace operates on rules, tradition, and public duty, Harry and Meghan are untethered, independent, and hard to control. This makes them far more unpredictable. Bauer even calls them a constant wild card, capable of creating drama and grabbing attention at any moment. And here's the kicker: the monarchy isn't powerless. William, in particular, is portrayed as a guardian of the institution, protecting the future of the monarchy and making sure that opportunists cannot exploit it. The balcony, public ceremonies, and high-profile events, William controls access, deciding who gets to represent the family and the institution to the world. Bauer points out that while King Charles may be sympathetic as a parent, he cannot override the line William draws. The palace is firm. Harry and Meghan will be kept at a distance. Their attempts to reclaim status will be blocked, and any public moments they hope to monetize will be carefully managed or denied. And it's not just about control. It's about legacy and stability. Bauer argues that the monarchy is enduring because it's protected by those who understand the long game. William is thinking decades ahead, considering the impact on his offspring, the future of the throne, and the public's trust in the monarchy. That's why Harry and Meghan's desperate moves will never succeed in undermining it. Bauer teases that his new book contains even more revelations, detailing the lengths to which Harry and Meghan went to capture royal moments, stage scenes for content, and monetize their family connections. He stresses that the public has seen glimpses of this all along, but his research uncovers the full picture, showing calculated decisions, strategic appearances, and relentless efforts to remain relevant. In the end, Bauer paints a clear picture. The Sussexes are relentless, ambitious, and always looking for leverage, but the monarchy has structures, authority, and guardians in place. The palace will endure, the royal family will remain protected, and their attempts to force a comeback will ultimately be blocked. The takeaway: no matter how dramatic or strategic Harry and Meghan try to be, the monarchy's legacy, its symbols, and its future are safeguarded. The balcony, the ceremonies, the public eye, these aren't just stages for personal gain. They're carefully controlled markers of stability, tradition, and the continuity of the royal institution. And that's why, despite all the scheming, the calculated moves, and the desperate attempts to reclaim relevance, Harry and Meghan will never be allowed to rewrite the rules of the monarchy. The palace, guided by William and grounded in centuries of tradition, will protect itself, its legacy, and its future. If you watch this and have thoughts, drop them in the comments below. If this breakdown made you see things differently, hit subscribe and stay locked in for more deep dives like this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see it.